it's another side that like wants to take more, wants to go that one more round, because like going that one more round when you don't think you can, that's what makes all the difference in your life. You know what I mean?
Welcome to another episode of One More Round, the Rocky Series podcast. I'm your host, Ryan. With me today, again, as always, Katie and Kyle. Good day, good day. How are you both?
Doing well. I like that. I like good day. I'm going to start using that. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
Good. Yeah, well, I think good day, it just came to me because I was about to say good morning because we are recording in the morning, but I realized people are listening to this
Whenever.
evenings, afternoons, who knows? So if you just say good day, it just covers whatever
I like
time.
it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, so we're back from the holidays and blah, blah, blah. But again, we don't really talk too much about that stuff on our show because we try to keep everything evergreen. Again, people could be listening to this in the middle of summer if they find our show later. But we want to welcome everyone that's joined us in our Discord. So if you're listening to this, you want to see us live as we record, join our Discord. Then the episodes will go on to Patreon, unedited and raw, just like you would have seen if you had been on Discord. That's what I'm giving to the patrons. Then it goes on YouTube and iTunes and Spotify eventually, a little bit later, like 10 days later, because we do an episode every 2 weeks. Okay, so we got a couple of people in our Discord. We've got Donald, of course, faithful Donald. He's amazing. And we've got Dan. Let me just say hi to Dan. Dan is also a new Patreon, and I want to thank him for his support. And I got another new patron, Jamie. So Jamie, if you're listening, I assume you're listening. I can't imagine you're a patron and don't listen to the show. So I just want to thank Dan and Jamie for joining Patreon and supporting it. I don't know if they joined because of Tulsa King or not, but they may have. But Dan, he guest co-hosted with me on Rambo 3 Episode 2, which just got today. It was released today at the time of this recording. So if you're a Rocky fan, Stallone fan, you don't know, I do a Rambo podcast called It's a Long Road, and Dan was an amazing guest host, really great guy. Yeah, he actually likes the show, which is weird. So it's not very often I get co-hosts actually listen to the show, but he actually listens to the show.
Welcome. And I listen to that. My routine for recording days usually is to listen to the Rambo episode in the morning while I'm like getting my coffee and stuff. I really enjoyed this episode. I mean, I enjoy almost all of them. I enjoy them all, but some are significantly more enjoyable than others. So it was great.
Yeah, do you want to say which guest hosts you would like better than others, Katie? Is that what?
No. No, I didn't mean it like that. Sometimes they're just more standout. I don't know.
No, Dan was great.
Never mind me. Never mind me.
No, don't. Yeah, never mind you. You're one of the people on the show. Yeah, don't listen to Katie. Every time Katie talks, people don't listen.
It's true.
Yeah, Dan was great, and it was actually his first time to podcast, but he has a YouTube channel, so he talks on the mic and he talks about video games on his channel, but he's never officially done a podcast before, and I think he did a great job. Yeah, okay.
Indeed.
Okay, so we're going to get into our emails. We do have a sort of an email from Jared. Jared, speaking of co-hosts, he's also guest co-hosted with me on the Rambo podcast. He's guest co-hosted with us on the Last of the Action Heroes podcast with me and Katie, with Top Gun, with me, with Burt Reynolds' movies Heat and Malone. He's got that deep baritone radio voice, Mr. Jared. Now, Jared, I'm going to call you out a little bit here. Actually, Jared's a patron as well, by the way.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah, Jared, you sent us a Facebook message email, which it's really annoying because we have to go look for it. You know, send us an email like a proper person, please, so it's all there. This is what he had to say. He goes, as always, these new Rocky episodes are fantastic. New details continue to jump out at me when listening to just the audio from the film, which is true. Even when I re-listen to the product on the feed, because I always listen to the show to make sure that the right episode and the right version went out on the feed. Even when I'm listening to the audio without us watching, I'm like, oh yeah, you kind of hear it more. It's hard to explain. He goes on to say here, for example, Rocky's broad comment when referring to a female child, which he quickly corrects. So that was from Kyle. He says broad. Even when you hear it on the audio feed, it says broad.
That was an odd thing.
That's an incredible catch by Kyle. And
It
wonder.
It is Kyle.
I've watched that movie hundreds of times. I've never heard it.
That's why you come on the show, guys.
Yeah, that's why you're here.
That kind of stuff.
To catch it when Rocky's misogynistic. He goes on to say, I've seen Rocky 2 100 times and never caught that. Also, I wasn't aware that Marianne was actually referred to by name in this movie. When Creed is reading his hate mail, he says, Marianne, listen to this.
There are a lot of things that we're able to catch given the format of the show. So well done with the format of the show.
And well done to the writers of these scripts. They kept the continuity the same, where she was named Marianne.
Yeah.
Unlike
instead of Jimmy, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we talking James Gambino, who plays Mike and Jimmy. He plays twin brothers that work at the. You're assuming they're not twins. They could very well just be twin brothers. He goes on to say here, I didn't think she was called Marianne until the first Creed film. When is she called Marianne in Rocky IV? Is she referred to as Marianne? I can't remember now.
The lots refer to her as Mrs. Creed.
Mrs. Creed.
Yeah, we'll have to look for that if we hear the Marianne. Now, in the first film, she was played by a different actress. She was in the first film. The character, Mrs. Creed, was in the first film. She was next to Apollo when he says, "Be a thinker, not a stinker." She was actually next to him in that sequence, but played by a different actress and not named. Here's a little Rocky novelization trivia for you guys. Apollo's wife was not given a name in the Rocky II novelization. There you go.
Oh, interesting. So despite her name being said in the film, the novelization doesn't have her with a name.
She's just referred to as woman. Hey, woman.
That would track.
Yeah. To make things even more strange, in the Rocky IV novelization, her name is changed to Cora.
There was some nice alliteration there. Cora Creed.
We're going to have to pay attention when we do Rocky IV if they state.
That's what I mean. I don't know if she ever said that. So the fact that they audibly say it in this film, which makes me wonder how much of that novelization Stallone's in charge of. Let's be honest. Because remember, he's on the credits for those novelizations as the author. We know he has a ghostwriter. Come on. And that ghostwriter has put Cora in. There's proof that Stallone didn't write those novelizations. I'm sorry.
However, he's a control freak, right? Wouldn't you read it?
No.
Approve it and be like, hey, this doesn't seem right.
We're just about to find out that he can't read. Okay. Oh, wait, that's Rocky. Sorry.
No, we finished that. But it's totally the Jimmy and Mike situation.
I know, it's so. I love Sly, but boy, he has a hard time connecting dots sometimes. It's so weird. Jared says exactly what we're talking about. Stallone is listed as the author of both of these books. He also wrote the screenplay for Rocky II, where the first use of the name Marianne appears. I guess it's just another classic case of Stallone forgetting and completely disregarding the established Rocky continuity, even when writing the novels. Yeah, quote, writing the novels. Anyway, I just thought this was an interesting detail. It is, Jared. Love the show. Keep punching Jared. So thank you, Jared, for that. Very nice.
Very nice.
You've got a long one. That's what she said. You've got a long one, Katie. But I think this is a really fantastic email from this guy. The one from Jamie. Not that Jared's wasn't good, but I'm just saying, Jared, yours was lessened a little bit by putting in a Facebook message. So
Points taken away. The subject is yo. That's perfect. It's from Jamie. He says, "Hi, Ryan, Kyle, and Katie. I'm Jamie, a cranky old Spanish citizen, 56 years old from Barcelona. Or should I say Barcelona?
Barcelona, that's right, yeah.
Barcelona.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I so suck at accents. Europe. And then in parentheses, I love this. He says, near Jamaica. That's awesome.
Now, I will say, he might be a new listener to the show because he sent this email to our old address.
Oh,
the old email,
okay.
the going the distance email. And he uses that Creed joke that we brought up. So he might be on the Creeds right now. I don't know. So let us know, James, if you want. But I don't know if he's caught up to the one more round yet, is what I'm getting at. Because he said
it is the GTD with RR. Yeah. Okay. I just saw that. So back to what Jamie says. He says, sorry, excuse my broken English. I'm about to say you're with an American and some Canadians. So multiple languages is not our strong suit. So props to you, Jamie.
It sounded just fine. The email sounded just fine, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he says, your podcasts, more than one, are great. Ryan, multiple podcasts is probably what he's referring to.
Yeah.
I really enjoy listening to you people. All the details you find inside the movies are amazing, and your ideas are inspiring, cool, spontaneous, and funny. Why there's a no kissing sign in the changing room? How come the stairs always appear in some relevant dialogue? Who would listen to Bianca's third-rate urban compositions in Creed? That, it seems to me, make Frank Stallone's the song Pushin', sound like Sly and the Family Stone.
Sly the Family Stone. I like that.
So based on that, he must be listening to the Creed portion.
I think so. He must be on Creed, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He says, sometimes I get lost, but I keep on staying tuned and try going the distance. Yes, I'm a Rocky fan. Never been much into Rambo, but I think this will change in the future. If I have one. I was only 10 in 1977 when the first movie premiered over here. I
Yeah.
used to jump around to the tune of Gonna Fly Now, a big hit back then, but I was not allowed to see Rocky, the movie everybody was talking about. In contrast, as a child, you could watch real boxing matches on TV with or without your parents. Nobody had a problem with that. Later, in the mid 80s, the Spanish government ended boxing on public television.
Weird.
Since then, crime rates dropped drastically in the country. Punchy bums disappeared from the street. Wife beatings in Spanish homes stopped. Not really. Oh, I was going to say, so he's making a joke. I'm
Yes,
like,
okay.
at first
This
I was
guy's got
like,
a great sense
whoa.
of humor. I love
He
his humor.
does.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Jamie. That is interesting that they wouldn't let them watch. There was like
too
a ban
violent,
on
I
the
guess.
movie or something.
Yeah.
But you could watch real boxing. Jamie goes on to say, then I saw Rocky 2. It was the first sequel movie of my life. Or maybe the second. I was a Star Wars freak already, and 1980 was also the year of The Empire Strikes Back. And I wanted more. Years later, I also enjoyed Rocky 3 and 4, but I was becoming adult-minded and the robot bothered me.
Fair. It bothers Sly because he
Yeah.
took it out in the recut.
Indeed. Never cared much for the fifth one. Now I kind of like it, except for the street fight and the Elton John final credits crap. Ooh, that's a hot
That's
take,
a very
Jamie.
hot take. Yeah, I agree
Very
with the
hot
street
take.
fight, but I thought the song was a nice ending. But yeah, we'll get to that, of course, later.
Fast forward, one day I was seeing The Sopranos and there was Burt Young. It was like finding a long time no see friend. At the end of that episode, I was looking again for my Rocky DVDs. And some years later, Rocky Balboa was back. Absolutely. Even I'm fine with Polly's robot nowadays, not adult minded anymore. Talking about Polly, in Spain, we have an expression. Cuñado means brother-in-law, but also in a colloquial use, big mouth, motherfucker, useless, simple-minded, flat earther.
Flat Earther.
I like this guy. This guy is funny. He says, since the first time I heard this, I visualize a kind of Polly character.
I
So
can see Paulie
cuñado.
being a flat earther. I really could.
But I like that. I'm going to try and remember cuñado. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. So Jamie says, well, there are things that are good, but they don't move you. You just forget about them. I will never follow a Tom Hanks podcast, no doubt about it. But your podcast series reminds me about that kind of things that maybe come and go, but somehow stay with you forever. Let's see if I can explain it. In my first job, a real shitty one, a fast food hole, a fucker stole my locker. I was deeply pissed, but I started to do the Rocky Mickey routine and went like, tengo gancho pero no tengo taquilla.
You sound good. I don't know.
A free version in Spanish for, yeah, I got heart, but I ain't got no locker. With gancho must mean hook instead of heart. Nobody even smiled. Now I work for a publishing house, maybe my last decent job. Next stop being someone's old Spider Rico in some place. This is a really good email. On that point, do you guys also say or make Rocky references just in your life and people don't catch it and you're like, oh, what a bummer. People suck.
I usually do something like can't sing or dance will be one I say all the time. Because if someone says, why did you join the military or the Navy? That was usually my response to that question. When I first joined,
So
people
funny.
don't ask me anymore because I've been there for almost 20 years. But back when I first joined, I'd often say, because I can't sing or dance.
That's great. So I think I get what he's kind of saying. Like you feel like home, everybody gets the references, something like this. So his second point is I used to play bass in a punk rock band. That's
Bass.
cool. Bass. Sorry.
I'm sure he didn't play with a fish. He might have. It might have been a fish band. It might have been the band Fish.
He did play bass.
But
yes.
do you speak English, Katie? Because we got to make sure that you speak English.
I can't read.
I'm not editing it out, by the way. That is staying in.
I used to play bass in a punk rock band. One day, somebody, a creepo like me, insisted on doing something musically more mellow. I went, you lost your edge. You didn't look hungry. You had the eye of the tiger, man. La mirada del tigre talk. I was no Apollo. So the band went down and stayed down.
Wow. It was around 14, Ben. Stay down. Stay down.
His third point, at 30-something, remember, not adult-minded anymore. I lost the one and only street fight of my life. TKO in 10 seconds and leg it because I was a tomato. It was past 3 a.m, and I was in the waiting room of a Madrid hospital with a blacked eye, almost closed, waiting for the doctor with some friends. Then I stood up. I cringe even today when I remember it and shouted, Adrian! A nurse yelled at me to shut up. I need to go to Madrid.
I want to hang out with this guy.
I
This guy
know,
seems
I know.
like really fun.
Will you sponsor a one more round in
Sure.
Spain episode, Jamie?
Yeah.
Okay, his final thoughts. He says, well, you get the idea, straight from the heart. I'm just a jealous, lazy bum. Thank you for your nice work, for your hours and hours of effort and dedication. Keep on having a good time. I will keep listening, and maybe I'll even improve my English. Time is undefeated, but take care, Jamie.
Wow.
Jamie,
God.
he speaks
It's-
better English than I do, so...
I know.
It's funny because I'm trying to learn another language and it's so slow and tedious and frustrating. I'll never be able to speak French as good as this guy speaks English,
No,
ever.
I know.
I know.
I'm doing Duolingo, but then I practice at home because my wife speaks French. So, like, at dinner time, we'll try and speak French at the dinner table, but it's pretty limited.
Jamie, hablo español un poquito.
Yeah, you speak Spanish a little bit. I knew that part.
A tiny bit,
Yeah,
or whatever.
No
Yeah.
entiendo.
So you got a YouTube comment.
Yes, so this is from Simon, our film guy.
Yeah.
He says,
We still have to watch this movie, by the way. That's my goal this year. Simon, I know he watches the show. I think he watches on YouTube. So, Simon, we will watch your show. I will, at least. I can't speak for the other two. But I'll watch your movie by year's end. Put it that way. By year's end, we'll have it watched. And we'll give you our honest review on one of these episodes. We'll tell you what we think. Okay.
cool. He says, when the director says, just like we rehearsed, he could be talking to the camera and sound crew and woman extras who generally prep all the stuff whilst the talent is in makeup.
Okay.
I think Rocky didn't do any rehearsals and was nervously stumbling over the dialogue. Also, if you look on the clapperboard, the cage location had 23 takes. So the director moved to the backup boxing ring, thinking it'd be an easier element after loads of attempts. From my experience on adverts films with those situations, the director does best finding a way that works for the struggling performer rather than embarrass them in front of everyone, which I have seen happen too. And if cue cards don't work, often does a repeat after me off camera reading each line. And then he says, I'm from near London. You call yourselves podcasters? You're all fake. Channel is fake. Based on the way he speaks, I would have guessed British, certain words that are used in like
Is he
British.
British? Is he British? Are you
Well, he says I'm from near London.
Near London. Yeah, he's calling us a fake. I'm surprised he didn't tell us to kill ourselves. Maybe that might have been too far, but he meant it. I think it was insinuated. Well, speaking of kill yourself, so in the last episode, as you know, with every episode that we record, I always upload it to our Facebook, advertise it to get people to listen. And I always do stills from the film, pictures from the film, because everybody likes the pictures, right? And I keep the subtitles in the film as well, so people can see that, you're a bum or whatever it is in the picture. I try to find funny dialogue, and I usually try to do obscure dialogue from the film that people don't often quote, just to make it more interesting, because people do 1,000 pictures of Rocky. I try to do stuff that maybe people don't usually post. Okay, I got a notification from Facebook about a week after uploading episode 4 to our Facebook page, and it said that Facebook page is in danger of being shut down because you broke the rules.
Okay.
And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And I was like, what happened to this post? Why was this post taken down? You have any guesses?
I know the reason
Oh, okay.
because I saw it, because I
Okay.
shared it. And then it directed me back to the page and it showed the reason. But
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Go ahead.
because you're an admin in the group. Mm-hmm. That's right. So I rebutted it, guys, at Facebook. This is not... So the reason was I don't remember the exact wording, but Facebook said it was for self-harm or suicide. And I'm like, what? Because the caption, "You're a fake, go kill yourself," was on one of the pictures, and that was just Apollo reading the mail.
Yeah.
But the algorithms, the robot algorithms, caught that dialogue and said that I was promoting suicide. Now, I actually rebutted it and said, no, I'm not. This is literally a line from the film. This is hate mail to Apollo from a movie from 1979. Like, my gosh, guys, if people are going to off themselves because they read that picture...
Well, there was no human behind it. They just have
That's right.
rules
It was
set
the
up to
algorithm.
catch
That's
it.
right. This
Yeah.
is AI saw the
Yeah.
word. So it got reinstated. So I'll give Facebook credit. They reinstated
Yeah.
the post. Okay. So anyways, I
Good.
thought that was, But at first I was like, what happened? Because I've actually had my Facebook shut down before. It was, I had a Facebook, this is a group. There's pages and groups. Anyways, I used to have a Facebook page that promoted the podcast back in the day. And this is like 4 or 5 years. It got shut down. And they gave me no reason. So to their credit, now they actually gave me a reason. So I was able to figure it out. But somebody, I think, narked on the channel or something. In Facebook to shut down. We had like 6,000 followers on it, too. It was really frustrating. So anyways, I was nervous, like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, don't shut down this again. A little behind the curtain stuff when you Yeah, so the AI algorithms, they work. It caught the wording, go kill yourself.
Because out of context,
Sure.
if you were to have just posted that somewhere, that I'm glad it caught it actually, but I'm glad it.
Yeah, the verbiage is
so-
tough. I get the verbiage
Yeah.
is sounds like, oh my gosh, that's very rough language. But yes, everyone that knows the Rocky films, we don't think anything of it. I wonder, has anyone literally killed himself after watching that scene in Rocky 2? We were going a little dry there with the emails. We got from Jared, who cheated the system, and he thinks he can talk to me directly because we're friends. Boy, I'm going to teach him a lesson. We got Simon, our film guy, who responded on YouTube. Thank you so much. And lastly, Jamie from Spain, right? Spain?
He says Barcelona.
Barcelona. That's if you want to be
Barcelona.
That's right. That's how they do it. Thank you so much. The wonderful emails. So there you go. Okay.
I was going to look into this, but I just happened to see an article that Stallone sold one of his LA homes.
I can't keep up with this home
Recently?
stuff.
Yeah.
He sold the one in Florida. Now he's just selling the one in.
They call it a flip. He must have just not owned it for very long.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was
a better
a true flip,
podcast.
but-
A better podcast would know this stuff. Like the Rocky
Yeah.
Files. They're a better podcast. They know this
Yes,
stuff.
so it's true. Home hit the market at the tail end of December with a 22.5 million sticker price, a solid chunk of change above the 18.5 million he paid for it in February. So I guess he bought it and sold it in the same year,
Sure.
making $4 million.
Well, this is his wife. I wonder if Jennifer is telling him to downsize a little bit. Because I know she isn't happy about his spending. They're together, and one of the issues with their near divorce was his spending habits. So I wonder if she's like reining him in a little bit, which women do. Good for her. He's only worth $500 million, so I hope he does okay.
I know. They're going to run out of money, aren't they? This was like a horse property, too. Yeah, so I'm kind of surprised he sold it, given his Tulsa King stuff now.
Yeah,
it made it sound like he has multiple homes in his portfolio. So to
Oh,
speak.
I'm sure he's got a few. So yeah, watch Tulsa King if you haven't already. It's still on Paramount Plus. Check out my reaction and reviews on the Patreon, which I do full episodes of. And then lastly, season 2 will be coming out. I heard maybe late this year.
I wondered how long we'd have to wait for the next.
They're not going to
round.
wait too long. I hate to say it. One, they recognize his age. He is 76 this year. They're not going to wait too long if they want to squeeze 3 or 4 seasons out of this. But there's also news, and apparently, if you watch Yellowstone, I don't know if you guys watch Yellowstone yet. If you haven't, you need to watch it. It's so good.
I do. It's a streaming issue for me. Like
Oh.
I have Paramount Plus, and Yellowstone is on something else here.
I get so confused
Yeah.
because in Canada, it's on Paramount Plus here in Canada, which is odd.
It should be because it's created. I don't know what the story
I
is
don't know
with that,
what
but
it is
I'm
either.
I have too many already. I think eventually it will come back, and so therefore I haven't watched any of the prequels either because I feel
Oh, that is so weird.
like I need to watch Yellowstone.
That is odd because.
go on, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that's so weird because, yeah, like you're saying, it's a Paramount Plus show. And in Canada, we were doing it right. In Paramount Plus in Canada, you get the bang for your buck. You get everything that's filmed by Paramount Plus is available on Paramount Plus. That everything that is a Paramount Plus show is available on Paramount Plus. So when I heard people talking online and Reddit, I can't watch this, that, I'm like, what are you guys talking about? It's all there. But anyways.
There'll often be American stuff I want to watch, and then it's not here, and it's all this licensing crap. It's so frustrating.
Well, everyone says VPNs is what you need to get, and I just don't know how to use them very well.
Yeah, you have to get the right one, too, because I used to use a VPN to watch Netflix for different countries, and then Netflix is like, oh, it looks like you're using a VPN.
Oh,
Fuck yourself.
wow.
Yeah. But I'm sure there's better ones out there. I just was using the free ones. We should have now NordVPN as a sponsor here. Seems like every social media person does that.
Well, we'd like to take a break and welcome our sponsors. We have to have listeners. I think we have to have listeners to get sponsors. I think that's how it works. Okay.
Hey, Katie, could you see Ryan's face move, or is he still
No,
frozen there?
so yeah, Ryan, it's probably fine on your end, but
It's
on
fine
our
mine.
end,
Okay.
okay, we hear you, but your image is frozen.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, on my end, which I'm
It's not
recording
the
on.
most flattering, but it could be worse image, too.
That's embarrassing. All right.
Speaking of which, I did notice, I'm like, Ryan, you seem to choose the most unflattering stills for the YouTube. Because I'm so animated all the time. I can't just like sit still
Right.
and speak.
It's
I'm
just
all
what
over the
it's
place.
just
Yeah.
whatever.
Are you
the
part Italian?
Yeah.
I wish.
Okay, just give me 1 sec. I'm just gonna pop in and out. Just give me 1 sec. All right, so let's go into the film discussion, shall we?
We shall.
We shall. Okay.
Work with professionals. You cost us thousands of dollars because you can't read.
It's no time to cuss me, snarled the robber. By God, fellas, grab your rifles and take color. Cover. How's that sound?
Color, cover.
My daughter's like that when she reads.
Is he dyslexic? Maybe.
You know what happens? I think A lot of reading is not really sounding stuff out. It's just recognizing what the word looks like.
I didn't learn phonetically. I learned by memorization. I remember that as a kid. I learned that's what the word looked like. And then in theory, I'd be like, okay, if that word, see Dick run, see Jane run. I remember we used to read those books as kids. So I would recognize that if run was run, then you put a G in front of it, it might be gun.
Yeah, usually you only use phonetics if you don't recognize the word. And a lot of kids now, they learn that through just memorizing what the word looks like. So sometimes she'll just say the completely wrong word. She mixes it up.
How old is your daughter?
She's 9.
Okay.
But her reading's a little behind.
No, but I mean, he's 30. He's 30 years old, this character.
He never really learned to read, though.
Yeah, he dropped out of
9th grade.
He was probably you fail forward. He probably failed forward until he dropped out of school.
Well, I've heard of kids in these districts. I don't mean to pick on Americans because I'm sure there's issues here in Canada too. But you'll hear like in these really underfunded school districts, you'll hear these guys. They'll get they're really good at basketball or football or something, and they get a scholarship to go to college.
Yeah.
Then when they get to college, they can't read or they could barely read or something. And it's like, well, how did you get through?
I guess that's my own ignorance, so I apologize if I didn't mean to be offensive to his reading, to this fake character's reading, but to the real issue of adults not being able to read. I guess I just find it odd because I don't know how you function. How do you go about paying bills or?
Well, he can read, just not.
Wow.
He has the basics. Like he's probably at like I don't know. Early
5th or 6th, maybe 5th grade, 4th grade.
He probably reads like my daughter reads. Like he said, when he reads there, that's what she sounds like.
Yeah.
So he's reading this Western novel to Adrian. He's touching her stomach, showing little tender moments here in the bed here. Not a very big bed for the this is that a is that
it's a queen. That's like a pretty standard size bed.
It's good.
Yeah? No, being a good reader is going to help me get a good office job,
He's blissfully naive, right? Like he doesn't know how the office jobs work. Mm-hmm. I had a friend in the trades, and he wanted to get an office job, and he's a very smart guy. But in Canada, trades guys, like they have almost like a certain accent and a certain way they talk, and it's like the total opposite of how like people in offices talk. He'd interview for an office job, or they'd offer him like, well, no, we're not going to do this, but you can get like a foreman job or something like that. Like,
True. The guy says, and during this time, unemployment was pretty high. And so there's tons of competition for XYZ office jobs. So like if you don't have a high school diploma and you can't, and so, but like to your point, he's just oblivious.
He couldn't get an office job just because of the way he speaks. If he's in an interview, like with his bad grammar and stuff like that.
Well, we'll see how he does in interviews shortly here. We'll see how he does in interviews. We'll see it.
We will.
He asked Adrian, you want to hear some more? I love this. I don't blame her for her enthusiasm.
Want to hear some more?
I can't wait.
Okay. There ain't no cover, Smokey, said Brad Lincoln. We better head for the canyon.
You read nice.
Thank you. You lie nice.
Thank you.
I reference that all the time.
I love that. I love how compassionate she is toward it. Like she's very non-judgmental. I love that moment when he says you lie nice and she laughs. Like that's such a good husband-wife bonding moment.
What book was he reading? Do you guys know?
Yes, you can Google this. It's
Smokey
a Western,
and the Bandit?
No,
or is that a Burt Reynolds movie?
It's a Burt Reynolds film. Yeah, he's reading a Burt Reynolds film. No, it is a real Western book. It's a legit novel, and I forget the name. Again, a better podcast would have this information, but just people, if you really want to know, just Google that crap. What book was he reading? It's on the interwebs. I've seen it. I just forget. What I love to hear too is Adrian. I want to say she's being naive as well, but is she naive too? Meaning that she believes Rocky can get an office? Like, what's that conversation? She sees Rocky getting dressed, gets a suit on. Is she really believing that Rocky can get an office job, or is she just letting him find out that he can't? Like, what's her thought? Because she's not stupid. Does she really believe he can work in an office? What's her thinking?
Well, she doesn't have an office job. She works at a pet store.
I think she believed he could beat Apollo. Like Einstein flunked out of school. And Beethoven was dead. I think Rocky has a good chance. There are some women out there that just kind of blindly believe in their husbands too. I've seen that around. Yeah. She really loves him and she believes in him. One thing Rocky has going for him in these interviews, the fact that he gets an interview in the first place is because of the name. He's famous. In real life, he wouldn't get into an interview.
Well, I think it's like placement agency or something.
Yeah.
And I do think Adrian, at this point in the movie, It's not like Adrian is worldly. She has been under a rock her whole life. So I think there is some naivete. We'll learn later in the movie that her eyes are opened and she's trying to be more realistic. But at this point,
Well, I guess I kind of agree with you guys. Because we don't see evidence otherwise. I'm thinking like a normal adult. I guess I'm just like, why are you applying for a job? Let's say that you don't have any credentials, or what would make you think you can do this job? This is a discussion a couple should have, like to be honest with each other about your goals, your dreams, whatever it might be. It's just weird that she just go get him, Rocky. You can do it. But that's what Kyle's saying. Maybe that's what she's doing. You got it. Go get him, Tiger, I guess. It's
not like she knows what the requirements are. She doesn't work in an office.
Yeah, that's true. For our listeners, of course, he's in the first many interviews that he's in. And it looks like a very high-end type office. We don't know if this is a real estate, lawyer, data collection. We have no idea what this office is for. I love that we have the secretary outside, all windows. If I had this, I would hate to have this office. Can I have privacy, please? There's no privacy with this office at the big glass wall.
I think it's common. It's kind of come and gone in, for example, when Mark Zuckerberg, that whole like Silicon Valley, it was no cubes, it's just a big open space with a bunch of desks. And turns out nobody liked that.
And how far did you go in high school, Mr. Balboa?
Ninth.
And one last question. Do you have a criminal record?
Nothing worth bragging about.
Now, what is it that he did? He broke thumbs, stuff, probably just assault.
His assault
stuff?
charges. Yeah. They mention it in Rocky V that if, like, as soon as he tries to do something,
oh, that's right, the lawyers.
There's going to be come up with assault charges relating to loan sharking.
He has this powder blue suit on too, which is funny. It's like of the times, but it also shows he should have gotten a new suit for that.
I think he bought that for this event. I think this is something he just bought. There's no way he had this in his repertoire because remember when he did that press conference in the first Rocky film?
It's
he was
true.
wearing that
That's
nice.
true.
That was his nice sweater. I think that was the nicest.
He didn't have a suit.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird though then because it seems more. It's not like an office type suit. It's more like
he doesn't know what goes on in offices.
Yeah,
that's like, true. Nice suit. Like this guy gets leather jackets with like a big tiger.
Good call.
This actually reminds me. The only suit I've seen of that color is in Dumb and Dumber when Harry and Lloyd go to the ball.
I think it's the same suit.
Yeah, probably. Did they have the ruffly?
Yeah, that's right, the ruffles.
Yeah,
like under it. Yeah,
and the top hat and stuff.
But that's a great answer. That's a funny line. Nothing worth bragging about.
It is a good answer.
I wonder what the bragging would have been. Oh yeah, what's the bragging that because he assaulted people? Yeah, no murder.
No, you wouldn't get a ton of street cred. Actually, he would.
He's not trying to get street cred here.
No, I think
this guy is not amused.
No, he's not. He didn't find that funny at all. I might have even laughed had I been the interviewer. I might not hire you, but I think I might have laughed at that.
Yeah,
I'd laugh at that point because it's like I know this interview's over.
Yeah,
like I'd be like, what the.
But yeah, I think I would have laughed.
He's actually pretty kind though in the next little sequence. Like he tries to do him a favor.
I do think this is a placement agency though. I think you're right, Ryan.
I agreed.
Oh, okay. This isn't the job. This is them getting his resume put together type thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, you know what? I never caught that.
You said that, I thought. I didn't think of it until you said it. Well, you said something that made me think of that.
I said it like 10 minutes ago.
It was you. That was you, Katie. Sorry. Sorry, Katie. I thought Ryan said it, but yes,
this is
Katie.
So typical of women.
I know. No, that's right. A woman said a smart thing a man must have said that.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been her.
I literally said that.
Well, you can't read, so we didn't figure you were.
I know, this is true.
Would you be interested in some sort of manual labor?
Makes sense now. I can't.
Well, I got nothing against honest manual labor. It's just I'd like to see if I can make a living sitting down like you're doing over there.
Can I be honest? No one's going to offer you an office job. There's too much competition. Why don't you fight? I've read somewhere you're a very good fighter.
Yeah, well, was you ever punched in the face 500 times a night? You know, it stings after a while, you know.
Kyle, you're the boxing guy. Is that a normal amount of times to be hit in a 15-round fight?
500 times in the face? I don't think so. Nowadays, they do the CompuBox numbers and thrown and landed. You will throw more than 500 punches in a 15, or they don't do 15-round fights anymore. Like, they only go to 12. In a 12-round fight, you could throw hundreds of punches, especially if you're a lighter weight class. But in heavyweights like this, you're not getting punched 500 times in the face in the heavyweight division. Maybe Rocky did. That actually
Clubs.
a fun thing to calculate because they don't show the whole fight.
No,
right?
they don't show the whole fight. That's the problem.
But if you take what they do show, the amount of time, and then just
one
extrapolate
round.
it,
Yeah.
then you can probably figure out how many times you get hit in the face. One thing I'd like to discuss, though, they talked about him retiring, but why does he not try and fight someone else, right? Maybe not like Apollo Creed, but why not start a career as a fighter? Is it because Adrian's just pressuring him, or
That's a
The
good
brain
point.
damage.
Oh,
I thought it was pretty clear from the beginning that he
not
shouldn't
brain damage.
be-
It's right now. It's
or
the eye. It's the eye in this
Yeah.
one.
Well, you're right. I'm equating them, but
yeah, I always thought the eye was more like, okay, you can't go up against Apollo again. I guess if you went up against Apollo, why would you go up against other people? But
Adrian's the problem. At the end of the day, Adrian's the
yeah,
problem. I hate to
it's kind of
say
a
it.
dumb question.
she's the vehicle for it not happening. But they've told him in a pretty plain way. You'll massively handicapped if you can't see.
We find that out later in the film. Like Mickey does the eye test with him and stuff.
Yeah.
He says right at the beginning he's retired, so we'll just respect that, I guess, and just.
Yeah.
But he doesn't say that to the guy. He doesn't say like, "Hey, I have permanent damage in my eye. I can't fight anymore." That's a pretty reasonable thing to say, right? But then he says, "Have you ever been punched 500 times in the face?" That almost makes him seem like a wuss or something like that. Or it's like, "Oh, it hurts too much to fight."
Yeah, as he gets older, he wants to have a job like him. No, I'm just so blown away, Katie. I can't believe a female would say something so smart, but I'm just so blown. This whole scene is blowing my mind. Because I used to think he was doing an interview for this job at whatever this office was, and the guy was just trying to be nice, saying, "Why don't you go?" He's trying to give him career options.
Yeah.
It totally makes sense now. So that's why he brings up the fighting. He's like, "Why don't you do some manual labor? You're a big guy. You're strong. You're not going to be sitting down like me. You're going to do manual labor. This is what you're looking for."
He's clearly suited for it.
Yes.
And what I wonder is, why does Rocky want an office job?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's the weirdest thing to me. I think what happened is, this is my little fan theory, is that experience with the commercials really embarrassed him, and I think getting an office job and reading would kind of prove to himself that he's not stupid, that he is proficient in this area, and that he's kind of showing that, "I'll show you, director, what's his face, that I can succeed and I can read and I can do this stuff, and I'm going to get an office job."
That's
I
a
think
solid theory.
I think if he goes to manual labor, he returns to being a bum from the neighborhood. But if he goes and gets an office job or something like that, then he's still a somebody, even if he's not a fighter.
A real somebody like you.
You.
like you.
No, like you. But I think that's true. Additionally, I think his mindset has changed now that he's married and is they've got a baby on the way. And so he
Right.
might think,
I gotta stay safe and blah blah blah.
yeah, but even the manual labor, I don't know if he's like making assumptions that he'll get paid more in an office job.
There's probably
than
some
doing-
thought, and, which isn't necessarily true at all. The manual
Yeah.
labor jobs are like, if he even worked in the sanitary, if he was a garbage truck driver or hauler, like that's good paying money, man. Like, I don't know why you didn't consider that.
He doesn't want to be, from Rocky, the guy who fought Apollo Creed, who's now the garbage man.
This is the problem with Western culture. These are jobs, and there's no shame being the garbage man. It's a good paying
Exactly.
job. Being the construction worker. These are jobs that we need to do when we need people that can do them. We see it in TV shows all the time, especially U.S. shows. Got to go to college. My kid's going to college.
Yeah,
It gets to the point where it's like,
100%.
where's all the tradespeople?
starting to
Everyone
come
can be a
back.
doctor and lawyer. Like, everyone just keeps saying, being a doctor, be a lawyer. No,
Yeah.
we need tradespeople.
We
Well,
do.
Ryan,
There's a shortage of trades
Yes.
people now. So there's finally starting to kind of recognize that. And it's been in TV shows and movies, but the idea of when you're a kid, what do you like doing? Whatever your passion is, that's supposed to help guide what you do for a living. And the point is, no one's ever going to be like, I want to be a janitor. The problem with that mentality of just everybody finding their passion is that, no, some people get paid for doing their passion. The vast majority of us find something.
It's a job. 1% of the population, maybe, and that's even being generous, wake up in the morning like, oh man, I get to go to work today. That's a rarity. I'm just lucky I don't have like mental health issues, like anxiety and that kind of stuff. I admire people that can wake up every day and just go like, oh, I'm going to work today. This is why I do the podcast, not to make money or not to get famous. It's actually because I enjoy this. But there's people who do this kind of thing for their job and they enjoy their job. So I admire those people.
I like our little trio because I feel like we're all pretty aligned most of the time on stuff like
Sure.
that. Additionally, I just wanted to point out this guy is excellent. He was well cast, the way he speaks and everything.
Yeah, he's really good.
Like it.
He does a good job.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Yes, we get to see the full shot of the Zoot suit. He waves to the secretary. I love it.
The crucifix is on full display, which I'm not sure. At that time, nobody probably gave it a second thought.
We
But
talked about this, did we not? Or I might have for
yeah,
going
yeah.
the distance. Where in this film, he is the Rocky character, just very religious in this film. He's the most religious in this film. So is this again reflecting Sly's life at this time? Like the cross, the crucifix, him praying in the church, Father Carmine and the wedding, the Mickey talk in the church. I don't want to get in a biblical place. Like there seems to be a lot of church talk in Rocky 2.
For sure. I don't know. Maybe people didn't think about it then, but I feel like nowadays, because he could have had his cufflink necklace.
So in the Rocky timeline, if you want to retcon
He hasn't received
the
it yet.
future of the Rocky 5 flashback scene, he hasn't received the gift from Mickey yet.
That you're right, because it happens
During
in their
their
training for
that's
the
right.
I feel like you should put the necklace under your shirt. Like it shouldn't be on full display going into an interview. You're not supposed to like shout it. Your religious beliefs
he's
are.
trying to tell the people trying to hire or looking to hire, the power of Christ compels you to hire me. I think that's the idea.
No word of a lie. I interviewed a guy, super religious. He had a cross on his chest. It was like inches high.
Wow.
It was like this big, and it was a big cross.
Remember,
Like,
folks.
You mean a
oranges-
tattoo or it was a necklace?
It was a necklace. It was like it was like a wooden cross.
Like the
It was-
Hell Vampires or something?
Yeah, no kidding. Wow. Yeah,
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Did you hire him?
No.
Yeah,
Well,
good.
he was really weird.
I bet.
Oh,
I
yeah.
actually-
Anyone that wears a 4-inch cross, wooden cross on their neck, they can't.
To
to an
an
interview
interview. Like,
because you're
you do
presenting your
that on
best
your own
self.
t- yeah,
You're
yeah,
presenting
yeah,
your
yeah.
best self. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Balboa?
Yeah.
I'm very sorry. We have nothing.
You sure?
Next. Hey, look.
This next guy is going to tell him how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it does look like Rocky might be looking into manual labor
Yeah, well,
jobs.
yeah, of course. He's going down
Is-
the ladder of.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what we see. The other scene still seems like a little bit of officey job
Yeah.
type thing, and
Pal, you gotta be realistic. You got no high school diploma, no qualifications. Wouldn't you be more content with a good paying menial labor job?
he's right about the good pain, and there's no
Yeah.
shame in the menial labor. But the problem with this film is a kind of a reflection of what society pushes on kids is the idea like this is beneath you. You're doing a menial labor job. You should say, hey, there are good paying manual labor jobs out there that you'd be great at. You can get a good money, you're fit, you're strong. You might really excel at these jobs. And as you work in these jobs, you can go up administratively the longer you work in these jobs. You can work your way up.
Apprenticeship for a skilled trade. Skilled trades take a lot of smarts. If you're an electrician, if you're a plumber, you have to know a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to do things right or there's serious consequences.
That's the real deal stuff, man.
Fully agree because of the time, because everywhere, all of these sequences, there's a line of people, there's tons of people competing. So we're just shown, I don't think there are any like openings for an apprentice.
So different now. So weird.
it's
2023.
slim,
It's like
yeah,
so many
it's
jobs. Is
slim
it the same in the
pickings.
States? There's so many job openings right now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Staff
well, it's a
shortages
very different
everywhere.
economy.
Yeah.
For in the U.S., we're at historic low for unemployment.
Yeah.
Can't get even a good paying menial. Like it's kind of that's even hard to come by. Everybody wants it.
So it seems like at this time in Philly, maybe it's just work is hard to find.
Yeah, it's in the 70s, the unemployment rate's double digit. The Philly's a blue collar town. You're going to have more of those trades jobs than you're going to have. Like, you still have an office sector in Philly. You're not like in New York or Chicago or somewhere like that. Even Chicago's really blue collar, but you're not in Boston or somewhere. Philly, you're going to get the manual. Like, you're going to work at a meat packing place or something like that if you're in Philly, most likely.
A friend of mine, shout out to Jessica, came over last weekend and we watched the original Rocky. She had never seen it.
Oh, wow. Did she like it?
She did. She's like, I'm gonna have to start listening to the podcast, but she was like, but I would be lost otherwise. Anyway,
Katie, you're taking a lot of people's Rocky virginity, you know?
I am. I know. So
Is she single?
But no, she's like my only married friend.
And her husband hasn't shown her?
I know. He knows. Like he'll talk. He and I will talk
husband
about
is this
Rocky.
Well, yeah.
I know.
What kind of? This is embarrassing. Like,
When we meet Polly, I asked her, I said, how old do you think Polly is? She said, I don't know, like 55. And I said,
36.
He's 36.
Yeah.
Her mind was blown. But it's the 70s.
It's so weird. Burt Young was 36 in that film. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Weren't you here last?
The way I see it is I can get another job if I want it, you know? But do I want it? I mean, do I want to be doing something I ain't going to be happy doing? Plus, you know, we need the money now, Buckus.
What makes him think he'd be happy doing an office job?
I don't know why he is Sly writing the character this way. His obsession with the office job. Is it a 70s thing? Because I don't get it. I don't get the obsession.
Also, the grass is greener. He doesn't know what it's like and just makes assumptions based on TV or something, maybe.
When I did labor jobs and stuff in college, I was like so looking forward to having a desk job.
Yeah.
Now that I have a desk job, I'm like, I'm bored doing this, or like I need more physical activity in my life.
Sure.
I also want to point out, just on a different subject, the Balboas appeared to have stolen towels from the Holiday Inn.
Yes, I love it. There's wallpaper in the bathroom that's actually kind of cool. Yeah, the Holiday Inn towels.
Yeah.
Or is he at a Holiday Inn?
Why would he be at the Holiday Inn?
I don't know.
Like, did they film it at the Holiday Inn? They just didn't swap
like that.
the towels.
It's an odd prop choice. Does somebody take it from a Holiday Inn and put it in the film?
Maybe it's product placement.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh.
Katie, how are you with washing dogs? Do you wash them frequently in the bathtub, or how do you do it?
I have bloodhounds now, but I've had Great Danes and Mastiffs before. I do give them all baths, except for the current kiddos are just wild, I guess. I take them to a groomer. But my Danes and my Neapolitan Mastiff, bathtub.
Okay.
So isn't this adorable?
It is adorable.
Butkus. And he
Butkus is
just-
very
and-
cooperative.
It is. It's like bubble bath, which I think is hilarious. And it's cute. He's talking to Butkus about his problems.
And he goes right here, dogs don't want to hear my problem. But they do. They're therapy dogs. They want to hear you.
Don't want to hear my problems. Come on. Yeah, I wish I was a canine sometimes. Give me a kiss.
Oh my God. You guys, also, I think these things with Butkus, that is part of why I love Rocky as a character, because he's really a careful person. He cares a lot about things, and that's something that not every man would do. Bathing him and talk, it do these little things to endear him more to us.
Of course, he's a
Rocky's
sweetheart.
just the best. Yeah.
So now we've kind of come full circle because Paulie, he's so talking about going down the rung of the ladder. Now he's hit rock bottom because he's asking Paulie for help. Now it's like, oh man, I've got to ask Paulie for help. He's going to Paulie for a handout, looking to see if there's any work at the factory. I don't think Paulie works there anymore, working at the docks. Are we led to believe he doesn't work there right now because he's working at the docks?
In the beginning of the film, he agreed to have Dazzle give him his
So
old
that's full
job.
time for Paulie. So Paulie's a full time
Yeah.
loan collector. Okay. So he goes here, talks to Boss Man. Now, this actor here is Frank McRae, who also played a character in Sly's movie Fist.
Yeah.
He was in that. And he was also in Sly's movie Lockup. So he's been in
I
a
have to
couple
rewatch Lockup. I haven't
it's such
seen
a
it
good
in a very
film.
long time.
Such
It is
a good
good.
film.
I feel like this guy, was he like an old football player in a prior
He
life?
might have been. He's a big boy.
Frank. Yeah.
A big man, sorry. God.
All I got's thugging beef.
You have nothing better for Rocky than hauling beef.
Hey, that's all I got, and we're cutting back too. So, Rocky, if you want to work, it'll be from week to week, okay?
Well, that's okay with me, but when can I start?
How about tomorrow?
Well, how about today?
Okay, we got a load coming in.
So times are tough for employment. Week to week, lugging beef. Like, this is the bottom of the barrel job, literally just carrying beef around.
Well, are they destitute? I feel like, why does he want to work immediately?
I think he spent all his money.
Yeah.
He cleared 37 grand.
Yeah.
He bought a car for, I don't know,
It was
8 or 9 or 10.
apparently at the time.
Yeah, 9. Okay, so he's down to
But he still had payments
28,000.
on it, though. He was making payments on it. He didn't buy it outright.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay,
that's
true.
true. And
He's
Mortgage.
making Rolexes, or he's buying Rolexes.
Which he's
he's
still
buying
wearing.
fancy stuff. Probably to put a down payment on that house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to buy groceries every week. It's already been a few months, and then like the money's running out.
Now, this is interesting here. We get a little nod to real life Burt Young looking thin. Because Frank McRae says this, the boss guy.
Hey, Polly, you look kind of skinny there, huh?
Yeah, he's losing weight, ain't he?
Sly can't name his characters the same names throughout the films, but he actually writes in dialogue or puts in dialogue that the actors have lost weight because Burt Young lost a lot of weight between Rocky 1 and 2. This is only not even a year later. These events are happening just months after the events of Rocky, the first Rocky film. So they kind of make a nod to we know Burt Young's lost a lot of weight because he's much thinner. And this is the most thin in shape he's ever been is in Rocky 2. Burt Young, the actor.
And he dresses nice for a collector, because Rocky never dressed nice as a collector. Pauly's really kind of taken on the mobster type of look. Like he seems like he's a big
we get
deal.
that
Like,
Al
he's
Capone.
not, but
That Al Capone.
I was-
reference.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
Don't bother to thank me.
Hey, thanks a lot, Paul. And you don't have to thank me for the watch either.
This is so great. These are such great touches. Their relationship.
Pauly's like, he got me there. Touche. Look at his face. Touche.
Pauly's just so much happier. Pauly's doing what he loves. I think he's living the dream. Like meatpacking, that's a union job. Union jobs pay really well. He'd been working there for a while, so he probably had good job security, good pay, benefits, a pension, you name it. On paper, that is a really good job. He was miserable there. He hated it. And now he has a job where he is breaking people's thumbs. He's likely to end up in jail. You're making a little bit of cash week to week. You could see that Rocky wasn't living too well off that job. But he's as happy as a clam. Life couldn't be better for him because he likes busting people's thumbs and being a monster.
If the Rocky series ended on this film, it would have been, Rocky and Adrian's peak happiness and Pauly's. We would have been left to believe that Pauly died a happy man, not some poor drunk. Katie, our residential...
Get it out of here.
We kind of see behind the scenes of what it's like to work at a meat factory. So he's hauling the bones. So the bones have been stripped, or the animal's been stripped of all the meat. He's got the bones in a cardboard box, taking them out to some dump, I guess. But this obviously is a real live meat factory. Look at that skin wrap or towel they're putting on the meat.
What the hell is that?
I don't know.
Kyle, do you know?
Keep it moist so it doesn't dry out or what? And this is disgusting.
Okay.
That's what gelatin is made of. This business. When you guys eat your gummies,
this is
disgusting.
sausage. This is sausage. This is your hot dog right here.
Oh, this leftover shit.
Don't waste meat. If you're going to eat meat, don't waste it.
So
It's hard to watch.
This part here, when you see this part, I get it. This is that menial labor they're talking about. That sucks. I wouldn't work here. And it's a lot of meat. Think about it, guys, for a second. I mean, I know, Katie, you're opposed to all this, and I appreciate that, but that's just a lot of dead animals just here in Philly. Like, this is just one little shop in Philly. Can you imagine the world, what they do with all this meat? It's crazy.
So if you want statistics, I won't bore you all, but it's outrageous.
Oh, I believe you.
There's way more animals than people, just animals being killed for meat consumption. In Philly is actually known for meat packing. Philly and Chicago are two big meat packing centers. There's a little homage to real life here. Joe Frazier,
that's right,
who is from Philly.
That's right.
In the 50s, before he got big into boxing, because he came up from South Carolina from like a poor sharecropping family, to live with like his aunt or something in Philly, and he got a job in a meat packing plant, hauling beef around.
Before he got into boxing, do you mean?
Yeah, and when he was training with boxing. I don't know if he ever hit meat or whatever, but it could be a coincidence or it could be an ode to Joe Frazier. I'm not sure. There's a bunch of stuff that, like Mickey living above the gym and training people, that's Joe Frazier.
That's right.
Frazier died poor, living above a gym.
He did? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He didn't keep his money from being in Rocky?
Joe Frazier got caught up in some bad real estate deals and got f***ed over by some people. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yeah, I was going to say,
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. There's very few things in these films that are original. Sure. They're all borrowed from real life.
Okay, so we're going to stop here. We're going to do the Rocky trivia really quick. I forgot about the Rocky trivia. We'll just play the honor system. If you know it, you know it. If you don't, you don't. Okay. What is Apollo Creed's wife's name?
Are we doing the 5 and then the answers, or one
right
by
away?
one?
We're just going back and forth. Like, well, they're going to do the honor system. Marianne, that's right. I think everyone got that one right. Okay. Who said that's the best looking thing I've seen all day? We're actually about to see the scene right now. It's coming up right now. That's funny. Well, we know who all said that. Rocky, yeah.
Rocky.
How does Rocky call people from his apartment?
He just calls out the window.
Yeah.
Is that what he means?
That's what I wrote.
Yeah, he yells out his window. Yeah. It's just weird that Rocco...
It's the other place.
Yeah, it sort of should be part 1, but that's okay.
What kind of 10-year-old are you making this book?
Yeah, what kind of 10-year-old are you that made this book? What does Rocky answer when a reporter asks him, Rocky, do you think you have a chance against Apollo? Oh, I love that answer.
Let me think about it. For a second.
Porter goes, Rocky, do you think you have a chance against Apollo? And then Rocky says,
I don't know. He looks pretty mad.
Exactly.
I got that wrong.
Okay,
I wouldn't have got that.
That's right.
No.
Let me just double check, but that's my answer too. Yeah, exactly. And last,
Good memory.
Kyle's favorite referee. What is the referee's name?
Lou Filippo.
Lou Filippo.
In the final fight?
I would assume the final fight.
Lou Filippo's the ref for almost every fight.
Yeah.
The first Clubber Lang fight, he wasn't the ref, but is the ref for Rocky 1, Rocky 2,
4.
The second Clubber fight. He was not the ref for 4.
The charity fight? Was he the...
I think he was the ref for the charity fight.
He was in the first one too. I don't know if I knew that. Okay.
So did you know the answer to that one, Katie? Lou Filippo? Would you say?
That's the only ref's name I know.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay.
But I did get 4 wrong. I got
For
4
right.
4 right, yeah. Okay, perfect. There you go. That was quick. That was our... Sorry, guys, we couldn't play at home. We had to do the question answer right away. I knew we were forgetting when I said at the beginning. Is there something else? That's what my brain was trying to tell me. We forgot the trivia. Okay, that is the end of our episode.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't hear no bell.
I just want